welcome back to Sosnovka. It's the bleakest day I think we have seen so far. Sunshine is forecast for later, but today we've got sleet. And there's a lot of mist and, yeah, it looks windy. Looks very windy. We can't do any harvesting, not that the fields are quite ready yet. We are going to do some more tree cutting because we need to make some money. Now, I have made one adjustment. If you may recall, in the last episode we ended up running very late in terms of the harvest and actually working into the dark. It was partly because it was a bit of a busy day doing things and planting poplar, etc. But the main issue that we've had is we've been working sort of up and down the line of fields, so that in effect the last field that we planted yesterday would always be the first field that we waited and harvested today. Now I think over time, with the little interruptions and also with the addition of the central sunflower field at the Ministry of Logistics, that's just gradually pushed us back and back and back. So what we've done today is move all of the harvesting team back up to the far end of the map, on the fields that we kind of made on the other side of town, and we'll work our way back so that the fields that are the first ready to be harvested we shall start on, and hopefully we shall bring the day back into order. We have a rather exciting amount of money available to us. I need to recount again. I'm trying to get these all to cut reasonably neatly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to make some more money today. I don't intend perhaps on spending much money today. We're going to really splurge. Where are we in terms of days actually? What day is it? It's Friday, so we're still 3 days away from the next audit day, which was when the man from the ministry was going to come back and see what we've done with our period of freedom. So we hope he's impressed. I think we're doing pretty well. It's getting harder and harder to tell which are actually the very tall trees. This looks like it must be one though. And we shall see later on today, hopefully, some development with the saplings that we planted in the woods. I think they take 5 days to grow, so it should be perhaps on schedule to be harvesting some of our replanted trees. An audit day, we can show off to the auditor, that would be good, wouldn't it? The sleet stopped, or is it just because I'm looking at the ground? Oh no, yeah. Oh here, talk of the devil, here is one of the chaps. Don't want to hurt him. Wouldn't get much money for that now, would we? Right, we're up to about 76 cows. I certainly want us to get us to 100 cows. That would certainly be quite a nice point to get to. The poplar will be ready to harvest tomorrow. We've got a bit of a mixed harvest today actually. I'm not quite sure why. We've got one field. Let's have a little look on the map. If you can follow my cursor, we have this field up here is planted mostly in soy with a little bit of corn. This field is planted in corn, which was intentional because the pigs need some. The sunflower field is half corn, half sunflowers, and I think there's a line of soybeans in there just for a laugh. And then we've got 19 planted in soy, 14 in barley. If we go back onto the animal screen, you can see that the pigs do need topping up on everything. They're going to be fine until we can get it to them. And we're going to do some work on the cows today as well, get them stocked up. And you can see the troughs are getting big now. 30,000 plus straw to fill that trough. Rather more than it was when we started. Well, 10 times more almost, or it will be by the end of today, I hope. So I don't know, I may save up the money. We may grab some more cows today. The sooner we get them, the quicker they're producing milk, I suppose. So I'm going to get on while this weather's being absolutely horrible. The weather's been very nice here in real life this weekend, very bright and sunny. We got to spend some time out in the backyard today. tidying up the vegetable patch, bringing in the last of our delicious leeks, and kind of getting everything ready for the dormant stage of the winter. We had a nice selection of tomato plants and pepper plants, and the first frost killed all of those off completely. So yeah, it's been that end of year clear up day. Alright, we're talking of clearing up. I'm just going to get on, do this. I'll get back to you when I've got some load done. Hopefully the weather is going to clear up quite quickly and we can get on. Well, as you can see, the Schluter, the 150 horsepower mega tractor, our mega tractor, is having trouble pulling a trailer up a hill. It's this huge forestry trailer. Now, I've gone and leased this. It cost exactly $2,000 to lease this for an hour, and we know that's less than one tree, so we're not going to fail to make the money back. And what we're going to try to do, or what we are going to do, this is not much of a challenge really, is fill this baby up. It's long. Is it longer than that one? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's quite a bit longer than that one, isn't it? In fact, I'm going to turn this trailer around so it's pointed at the timber yard before we load it. Now, this is kind of also in response, well, it is in response to a suggestion from a sub, a very special sub, in fact, Kevin Downs, who is basically the man, the sub, who got us making the videos again. I'd had a bit of a break. Things had got really hectic with work and everything, so I'd stopped making YouTube videos and I'd left this playthrough hanging. It was him who left the comment saying, please make some more, I enjoy these. That was all I needed really, and I have. So those of you that have enjoyed the Sosnovka playthrough, or in fact any of the videos that we're making, it's all down to Kevin. And he suggested that we get a self-loading wood trailer. Now, unfortunately, there is no such thing. I certainly can't find one. What we have here is a mod trailer. This is a self-emptying mod trailer. It tips to the side to tip out the wood. So we're going to fill this baby up using our ever-dependable Massey Ferguson. And I think we've got enough trees left up here to do this. So that's what we're going to do, because this Sleet isn't going anywhere. You're more than familiar with the operations of the Field Battalion. So let's just see how much wood we can get in this trailer. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to cut down as many. What do we normally put in? A 6. I reckon we're going to go for 10. I don't know if it'll fit. We'll see. I'm going to cut down 6 and see where we are. There are actually a surprising number. I thought I'd pretty much thinned this area of woodland out, but there is still a lot left in here. Bear in mind I've already filled up one trailer, and I'm still only taking the very biggest trees. So this is certainly, in terms of the money we've got out of this one patch of woodland, is an incredible amount really. Certainly in terms of our budget anyway. I've been reading Farmers Weekly. My lovely girlfriend brought it back from the shop for me. She thought the headline was, well, one of the headline kind of things on the cover. The beet goes on. She thought it sounded like one of my episodes. They have a special feature on beet harvesting. They also have a buyer's guide to harvesters and balers, which I've had a little flick through. It is quite interesting. There's a couple of interesting articles in there. One is suggestions on, to farmers on how to protect their land, etc., from animal rights invaders, which is getting, I don't know what it's like in the States, but that's more and more of an issue here. Pretty regularly that you're hearing about vegans turning up at a farm or a butcher's or something and just vandalising the place, all in the name of don't eat the animals. They suggest using drones for surveillance. Obviously you're not allowed to get your shotgun out anymore. When I was young, that was what we were always told. You go near the farmer's field, they'll just shoot you with a shotgun, and it's your fault because you shouldn't be there. Times have changed, haven't they? And it would have been my fault. I can guarantee you in the 70s or 80s, if I, well, not like I lived in a very rural area back then, but if I was that age, if I'd got home having been shot in the arse by a farmer because I was on his field, my mum would have just laughed and probably punished me for being on the farmer's field. You look at how parents behave now, how overprotective they are of their children. You can't punish my angel. They can do no wrong. I mean, I remember one incident, and today, God knows what would happen to the guy. It was one of my teachers. I was 9 years old. No, maybe older. I'd probably go for about 10, 11. I'm going to go for 11. It was one of my final years of what we call here middle school. And it was a teacher I knew really well. He'd actually lived just around the corner from us. And this is back in the 80s when teachers went to the pub at lunchtime. And after lunch we had our maths lesson with this particular teacher, who I've no intention of naming, don't you worry, or get excited. And he was giving us actually a lecture about talking in class and how bad it was and blah blah blah. And guess what? He caught me saying something to my mate sat next to me. And I think partly because of the situation of what he was talking about and what I did, and partly maybe because he'd been to the pub and had a couple of pints, he dragged me across the classroom, picked me up by the scruff of the neck and held me against the wall with my feet off the ground, telling me in no uncertain terms what he thought of me and my behaviour. And word got round that this had happened. And my mum heard about it, and I was in trouble. I was grounded for a week for annoying the teacher that badly. Annoying the teacher so badly he had to pin me against the wall. And to be fair, the teacher did apologise. But it happened. But I just think, you know, what would happen to that teacher now, their career? At one moment such as that, and it'd probably be over, and the parents would probably be trying to sue because their little cherub had been emotionally damaged by the nasty teacher getting angry with them. But I don't know. Not got much to do with forestry, but there's one of my little interesting stories of how the world has changed. You think when my kids were at school, I mean the youngest of my kids now is nearly 17, but the paperwork they had to give you when you picked them up from school if they'd cut their leg to prove that they'd given them first aid, and a little diagram of where the hurt was and what they'd done, and all signed off. It must take them so much time to put a plaster on a kid's knee, if they're allowed to touch the kid and put a plaster on them these days. Anyway, that's enough of my whittering. I'm just going to get on with this, and I'm going to bring you back when we're loading. Well, it's still sleeting, and we're still loading, but we've done quite well. I probably could have cut these a bit longer, but then there's actually a bend in the tree which kind of matches where I cut them, so I still think this is probably, according to what the game says, should be the most profitable way of doing it. But anyway, we're getting there, and I'm really enjoying this Massey out here. Once you get the hang of it, the brakes are odd, but you get the hang of them, and you can throw this thing around quite nicely. It is so manoeuvrable. But you can get it exactly where you want it, even if I'm a bit klutzy with the grab. There you go. That's all user error. Go. I'm going to see if I can get more than one of these at once. I'm on the floor. Tilt and back a little bit more, push them together, and then get the claws over. Go on. How many have we got? 2? We got them all. Ooh, a little bit loose. I'll be surprised if we get all these into the trailer. Anyway, the Farming Weekly article about Beat Goes On, entitled Beat Goes On, is about is reassuring farmers that the beet yields are looking good despite a dry summer. It's quite odd actually to spend quite a bit of time playing a game and then be confronted, not confronted in a nasty way, you know what I mean, but just be reminded, I think, of the reality of the industry which we spend so much time simulating. And then I had a funny idea. Do you remember how Polyphony, I think, were the first ones that did it? The makers of Gran Turismo, look, the best drivers on Gran Turismo Online would get places in a racing team. I had the odd idea of Giants having a similar scheme where the best virtual farmers would be given a tractor and a plot of land. There is actually a startup guide in the magazine of how to get started in agriculture. I haven't read that one yet. I'm having enough of a challenge with my vegetable patch, to be honest with you. Although it was newly dug out this year, so we've learnt a lot. Also, now all the trees along the edge of the backyard have lost their leaves. There's so much more light in the garden. But then in the summer, we've kind of planted stuff in the spring, and then as everything got fully kind of foliated, we realised that we planted quite a lot of stuff in the shade, in what turned out to be the shadiest part of the garden. So lessons have been learned. Right, what have we got left? Just some scrappy bits. We'll do one experiment. We're gonna maybe see what the ideal cut would have been for that trailer, lengthwise. This piece here. And it's only 9 days till Farm Simulator 19 comes out. So let's see how far we can get our Sosnovkan friends by then, shall we? I'd actually like to see what the absolute maximum number of cows we can kind of service with the land we've got now is. Even if we had to plant a field of grass, I might accelerate things a little bit in terms of the playthrough, so we can answer some of those questions before the new game comes out. Right, what we're going to do, we're going to take down one more big one. We're running out of big ones. There's one. And we're going to give the Massey its ultimate test. And try to get the whole tree over to that trailer. What's the worst that can happen? I was also quite looking to Fallout 76 coming out, because I played Fallout 4 a lot, but I've never seen a game get quite so slated based on nothing but the beta. And for a game that seems to exist to be multiplayer, most of the criticisms of that game seems to be coming from people who are complaining it's not Fallout 5 because they're playing it purely as a single player. Do you see the bend? Can you see it up there? Look. Sure you can, you're very astute people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I cut it. My count of 5 takes me right pretty much on that bend. So technically these should be the straightest pieces of wood. So I'm going to cut that piece off there. But then I'm guessing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to cut this off down here. Rather, I don't think the whole tree is a bit silly, but I think that length. Let's see, shall we? Let's see if we can get all of that up into that trailer. If anyone can, Massey can. Alright. And that should be about right weight wise in terms of balancing it left to right, because the tree's quite a bit thicker to the left of the Oh look, no problem grabbing it at all. Oh look at that. Straight over that tree. And because this is so manoeuvrable, look, we are going to be able to get this round that tree to the right over here, and then pretty much just spin on the spot. Look at that. There is no other vehicle in the game, I'm sure, with which we could do this. Quite like the way we're doing it. I'm going to bring it over a little bit just to make sure the tractor's going at that end, so we don't want to spike the tractor. So this may be a little bit long. But we're here now. Get that last piece on there. And then I may grab the scraps while we're here. Let's get this last big piece in on this side, because we're not going to be chipping any more wood, so we're not keeping scraps for that, that's for sure. Oh no, 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 no. Whoop. There's also a classified ads section in, well, not just classified ads, but you know, equipment for sale, tractors for sale. Some very big adverts. There's a lease company selling off this all John Deere equipment that's been out leased, I guess, over the course of this year, and they're selling it all off now for the winter. It's quite interesting having a look at the real life prices of the stuff. Vader stacked seed drills for £7,000, much cheaper than the game. And some of the village vintage tractors were out today. I didn't take any pictures today, I was busy. It was Remembrance Sunday here in Britain. I think Veterans Day, our cousins across the pond. Obviously Armistice Day from the First World War, so we get our poppies out. My little task is to help control the traffic, so the parade of veterans and cadets, etc. can get down the street. So I couldn't take any pictures because I was keeping people safe and annoying people by telling them they couldn't go down the street. But all the vintage tractors from the village were knocking around today. A little bit of a show. I may put some pictures on. They're not from today. But there's quite a collection. Lots of Massey Fergusons around here. And a Massey. My friend Ian has an old Massey he's just finished restoring. And we're kind of borrowing some of his workshop space at the moment to build a new trailer to move the autocross car around on. So lots of Massey Fergusons. That Massey. A few Dexters of Fordson I saw today. Yeah, I'll show you some of those afterwards. Right, I think that's the last bit we're going to bother getting in here. Wow, look at that. Jump for joy. There you go. What a happy, happy Massey. Right, let's get this Schluter. See if we can actually move this now. We'll take this one first. We've got cargo straps. You might want those. Oh no, we just strapped the two trailers together. Right, turn the straps off. Get these trailers off each other. Go that way. Now we'll put the straps on. Hopefully we haven't. Oh yes, this is quite a load. And the trailer tips, well, you see the animation when we get down there. Tips off to the left hand side. Well, I've got no gas on this tractor at the moment. That is just the weight of the wood pushing us along to over maximum speed. Fantastic. I'm going to put some gas on now. We zoom out far enough to see the whole trailer just about. So we're going to need to swing round and hopefully just roll all this wood down into the sell point. Whereas the other trailer, I've remembered we've got that nice spot in the far corner. Right, oh crikey, brakes. If we'd been in the Massey, we'd have been in the lake then, I'm sure. As we were. Right, now I'm hoping that I can dump them up here. They're going to roll. Oh, have I got grounded? Or have I just got too much of an angle? Oh. Come on, physics. What's happened here? Why don't we get even on the floor? Come on, drag it around for me. I've got a bad feeling about this. Right, now. Come on. Right, stop. Unfasten tension belts. Unfold trailer. Right, now, yeah, the bars are going to go down and then the trailer tips. There we go. Safe and sound, and it's all in. Is it all in and sold? Not quite. A couple of naughty pieces. Oh no, they've all rolled in. Fantastic. And off we can go to get the next load. Oh, this trailer's heavy. I'm not sure if it's grounding as well, maybe. So long. $82,497 and another load to do. We might be up to 100,000 cash. So here we are, we're back up in the woods with the Schluter. We've sold the other trailer of wood already and reloaded this one, and this one's quite packed. So we should get even more money, which is good. Again, this is the weight of the wood pushing the tractor down the hill. I've got no accelerator on here at all whatsoever. One comment about this trailer, it is great, but for general use, I really would recommend a more powerful tractor or even a truck. We're lucky here that that hill out of the woods is firing pretty much the tractor and the trailer. Oh look, yes, we got an odd bit of wood on this load. The center of the wood is completely off center. It's weird. Some kind of mutant tree. Hope we get some extra money for that. You never know, eh? Yeah, so that's what I'd say. This trailer's great, and the tipping is making things easier. I mean, a lot of maps now have a sell point you can just drive over, and you may need to release the cargo straps, as we've seen at Waltenstein, to get the wood to drop into the sell point, as it were. But this is great, certainly on this map, where you literally have to get every log you want to sell into that water. And the easier you can do it, and the less dangerously you can do it, the better. To keep that tractor under control, and here you can see it's just, yeah, the weight is just there ready to catch you. So yeah, I recommend a bigger towing vehicle for this trailer. But it's nice and safe, it's stable. I was worried that when it started tipping it would tip the whole lot over, if you see what I mean, but no. The weight seems to just disappear. There we are. Nearly $140,000. Now I think what we're going to do, we're going to try and get the cows up to 100, and then whatever other money we can make between now and the next audit day, we're just going to pump into some equipment. We've never bought a field. I'm not going to say we've run out even nearly of land that we could steal, but we would have to go further away from the farm or put some effort into it. So I'll have a think about that. There are some more areas up around the town where we've already stolen some land where we could maybe get some more. We might have to clear some trees, I don't know. We'll see. We're certainly in the happy position of having possibilities. And here we are, we're back down at the farmyard. This is the trailer. This is by Blacksheep Modding, as is the Quadro Pack 5, forgive me, Bale stacker. You saw this really quickly yesterday, but we'll have a better look today. They're both really nice mods, lots of detail, really clear and crisp. Warning stickers, reflectors, beacon on the back of the Bale stacker for added safety. Really nice mods, as they always are from Blacksheep Modding. They are fantastic at what they do, so thank you very much for doing it, that's all I can say. We'll just have a quick look in the shop. Well, not the shop, but our leased items section, just to check the name. There you go, the 80,000/6. A very romantic name for a forestry trailer there. But there you go, what can you do? I would never name a product something like that. I don't know. Car, it would be kind of good. Numbers are good. Trailer? What do the numbers mean? I don't know. Maybe it does mean something. If you know what it means, if that 80,000 is like the load capacity and the 6 is the axles, oh, it's not, is it? I don't know. Anyway, the other piece of equipment we grabbed was the windrower. It's not a mod. It just saves a lot of time. It gets these 4 rows of grass into one. We've leased it. It's quite an expensive piece of equipment to get early on, and all it saves you really is time. So maybe a luxury item. It depends on how much grass you've got to produce. Obviously, as we get the number of cows up, grass production is going to become really the focus of the farm. It hasn't been able to really, because the way this farm was started up and run, we've had to find other ways to make the money to increase the number of cows, to get to the point where we can really be what you would consider a dedicated kind of dairy farm. So we're there now. Anyway, a lovely big heap of grass here for us to pick up. We're going to bale grass again today. We're going to get through quite a lot. The troughs are going to take a lot more to keep them full up, and that's the point I want to get to. How many cows can we run off of what we've got? And we shall see, won't we? We've just finished the baling. There's 8 left out to pick up, which will be 2 pickup runs with the bale stacker. There's 2 in the baler and 1 on the fork, which should be accommodated by the food trough. There goes the one on the forks, and then we can unload the ones from the baler. Oh no, we don't need to unload them. It's kind of teleported out. There you go, that's fantastic. Didn't even need to unload the bales. They got sucked out straight into the trough. So that's the grass needs sorted out. We'll just take the baler back around here and drop him off and grab the Quadro Pack, or send the Schluter out with the Quadro Pack. There's me getting confused. How do I fold up the baler? There we go. Lovely, all safe and sound back in the shelter. Now, let's go and grab them bales, shall we? And these machines, this is all just about saving time, and leasing them certainly saves you so much time in terms of getting your hands on them. Some people kind of avoid leasing. You don't see many people in, I don't see many people in the playthroughs that I watch leasing too much stuff. But then again, they all they play in a slightly different way to me, in that they go out hell for leather to maximise their income from the moment they start playing, which is fair enough. That's a fine way to play the game, and I obviously do it. I just think now, with my number of hours put into this game over the years, I'm getting a little bit confused here. You do have to wait for the mechanism in this bale stacker to kind of lift one bale, but there I was simply too far away. You don't actually even need to slow down. As long as you're nice and close, you just whiz by. Where was I? Yes, well, yeah. Basically, the challenge for me at this stage of the game, and my time spent playing the game, is to start with as little as possible and kind of almost restrain myself find out how to do it with what I've got. But the new game is nearly upon us. 8 days to go from when I'm making this bit of narration. This video was supposed to be out, what is it, Monday morning today. This was supposed to be out on Friday. We've had a bit of a busy weekend, as I've mentioned. The PCs have just been playing up. I recorded half of this onto one PC, then the hard drive started playing around, so I had to move it onto a different PC. So hopefully I've cracked it. I'm going to stick with this reliable, lower spec PC that takes a little bit longer to render and stuff like that, but gets the job done reliably. And you can get these bales, as you can see, into the unload position, but still they're attached to the stacker, so you've got a final little window of maneuverability. I'm just going to put them here for now. Once we've got through these bales and sort of made the food we need to be and get the troughs filled up, we'll see how many bales we've got left. We've got that whole trailer full still, but as I say, I do think we're going to start getting through them. Once I know how much we need and how much we've got, then we can start wrapping bales and selling them again. There's a little bit of extra income if we want to do that. But the options are basically there for us to explore. So let's see how quickly we can pick these ones up, shall we? Drive-by bale picker uppering. Something like that. Will we? I bet I'll get this wrong. How did I get that wrong? What have I done? I haven't closed the little door on the back of it. There you go. There's always something with me, isn't there? Here we go. We'll pick them up on the way back. Always an option. There, the mechanism hadn't moved enough to pick up the next bale. There we are. Look at that, like a boss. A level 9 boss. Well, as you can see, it is now officially sunny. And up ahead, field 19, again, half of it's ready to harvest, half of it, even though we seeded it all in one run, is in the next growth stage. Does mean the fields obviously at the upper end of our farm are ready to go. We shall be back in the next episode and do the harvesting, do some more jobs around. We shall start spending some of this money too. We've still got the harvest money to come in, which is going to top us up. We'll be over 150, maybe 160,000. It's going to be cows, and then it's going to be equipment, as I discussed with you before. Right, so thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you've liked it. Any comments, any suggestions? We shall crack on with this playthrough and Altenstein. Technical issues have been resolved. I'm going to stick with a reliable lower spec computer. Thanks very much for watching. Subscribe if you want to stay in touch. Click the notification bell if you want to know when we put new stuff out. Take care of yourselves, and we'll be back with you very, very soon. Goodbye.